Next, we have Dr. Shambhu Prasad Chakrabarty. Dr. Chakrabarty is currently the Head and Research Fellow at Center for Regulatory Studies, Governance and Public Policy at NUJS. He has completed his graduation and post-graduation from the University of Calcutta. Thereafter, has been associated with the University of Calcutta and KIIT as visiting faculty. He was also a professor of law at Amity Law School, Kolkata. He holds a PhD with specialization in tribal rights. Welcome, sir.
Very good afternoon to all the dignitaries inside this small auditorium. The area of discussion today is mostly about how we can find a way out against this massive economic exodus that's happening, not only for the last couple of years, but I think for more than a couple of decades. Since the inception of WIPO and WTO, more than 25, 26 years have passed, and there has been a lot of research and work in this particular dimension to identify how we can carry on protecting IP, not only in first world countries, but also the growing jurisdictions. India has not been very good in protecting IPs. Now the question is why it is like this. I will just put forward a small question before this August gathering here. How many of you people have seen a movie prior to the coming of Netflix and other things, either by downloading it on your computer, or someone has done that for you and given and passed you a small pen drive? Please, let's have a small poll. Please raise your hand who have done this. Who have seen a movie. That's great. Thank you very much. I think it's nearly 90% of the people here, and I'm sure the people who have not raised their hands, majority of them must be missing certain facts of their own respective lives. Well, after Netflix, after iTunes, how many are of those people using and within 18 to 25 or 27 age group are still carrying on the same things? Now things are accessible legally. There is a good license happening there. We can watch 4K quality movies. We can have amazing surround sound music downloadable. Well, there has been a huge, a headfall of piracy in these areas. Now, how this happened? This happened because of the availability of an alternative viable scenario. Now, there are artists here. I can see directors and other producers. They're musicians, and there's always a musician. There's always an artist within ourselves. Now, suppose there's a director who wants to watch movies made by directors in other jurisdictions which are not that popular in our country. Say, for example, from France, from Russia, where they will find those movies. Again, right now they're going back to torrenting things, knowing perhaps fully well that it's not legal. Coming back to musicians who want to find new tunes, who want to explore newer dimensions. What are they doing today? Those things which are not available on the web, those new dimensions, they're again going back to what we call a piracy. So when we are talking about formulating a policy, we need to understand that we simply cannot make all these efforts made by these creative people as something which is violative of law. So a policy must be framed, especially by creating these artists compatible with their professions, by expanding and expounding and identifying newer horizon of what is called fair use, before formulating laws in the next decade. So that is one of the things I'd like to tell everybody. Now, the flip side of the story. a young artist exploring various videos, looking into various things that's there, now creates its own summation, and he believes that it's mine. He has given a lot of effort, he has given a lot of labor, and he wants to put it for sale. What happens next? If someone copies his work, he starts coming up and raising his voice and tells that there is piracy, there's counterfeiting. But one must understand the principles of equity is also very much there in our jurisdiction. One who seeks equity must do equity. One who seeks equity must come with clean hands. My hand is not clean, and I'm asking for protection. So the second point that we need to keep in our mind while formulating the policy is to understand to what extent I can claim when I am myself borrowing things from others. Whether they're protected or not, that's a different question altogether. So this is the second thing I think we should take up for the next 2 or 3 decades. Now, coming down to the amazing loss of biodiversity, amazing loss of traditional knowledge in our country, I think we are just beating down around the bush. We're just trying to protect economic interest of those people who are already on the helm. And we are not looking into those avenues by which we can be an economic powers in the next century. We need to consult with specialists who can really identify whether a particular knowledge that I overall find out and see that it's new, it's good, it should be protected, it's a traditional knowledge, it's a traditional cultural expression. I need, as Professor Dr. Hom Chaudhary has rightly identified, we need to protect those GIs. I think the university should come up, not only this university, I think all the universities across, all the artists across should at least give some time out to help and improve the economic powers of our country by contributing into the traditional knowledge sector. We need to improvise on the traditional knowledge due to the library, but that's a passive way of protection. Why not thinking even further by creating a sui generis legislation that has been done by many jurisdictions, like that of Indonesia, like that of Kenya. There are many countries, there are many African countries who are coming up with various legislations to protect their own traditional knowledge, like GI. Why suddenly all the foreigners coming down to Kolkata at least wants to have one Rasgulla? Because it has GI. Why people coming down from various jurisdictions in our state wants to have a little sip of Darjeeling tea when all the varieties of tea are available all across the world? We need to give that coating to our existing traditional culture to take our country forward in a right economic direction. With that, I keep a close to my little talk. Thank you so much.